If I had the opportunity to introduce one American culture to Africa, Ghana to be specific, the one I would choose is the Thanksgiving celebrations. There's just something that's just right with that festival. I hope I can call it a festival. I really love how they all come together as a family, cook their favorite and I'm guessing their traditional foods, and just enjoy each other's company. Most importantly, I love the fundamental idea of Thanksgiving. The fact that it's about giving thanks and being grateful. This is what I want to talk about today.
Anywhere you go, give it all. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Musical Epics with Shari. I am your host, Sharon Bodua Boedu. You can call me Shari if you love what I do. I am so excited that you landed on my podcast and I feel so honored to be doing this with you guys. I took a well-deserved break in November because I had bitten more than I could chew. A lot of things have happened since then. The two most exciting ones, I finally graduated from the university with a first class honors. Yay. And I also started my national service as a teaching assistant in KNUST. For those of you who do not know what national service is, it's a 1-year mandatory service that every university graduate has to render to their country. So that's what I've been up to basically, just trying to adjust to this new season of my life where I have to wake up and go to work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and do what under normal circumstances I wouldn't really care about. Please don't tell my boss. But I used to hear people complain about adulting when I was in school, and I always felt that they were just exaggerating and I could not wait to become an adult. But now I'm like, I don't want this. Because as the day goes by, it's getting harder to get out of the bed. And it's almost as if there's no time to do anything else apart from work. This is not how it was supposed to play out. And I know I'm not fully an adult yet, and this is just a tip of the iceberg, but dang, the fact that I have to make my own decisions and make choices that affect the future is so new and so scary. There has to be a playbook for this thing because, wow. And it's not that I'm unhappy. Like, I'm actually very happy and I feel like I'm on the right path to fulfilling my dreams and my goals. But at the same time, the fact that everything can go south in just a split second is always staggering on my mind, which adds a different level of pressure to everything that I have to do. Listen, there's so much talk in seminars and admonitions for us to follow our dreams and pursue our goals, regardless of what other people say, as long as it makes us happy. And that's all well and good until you actually start to follow your dreams and your goals. It is not easy at all. The level of consistency and discipline it takes is crazy. And unfortunately, how to learn that part is not part of any university's course. That's the hard truth. There's a backside to following our dreams and goals that can easily trip us off if we are not cautious. I do know that all this is part of the process and necessary for growth, and so we just have to keep pushing. We would have a conversation about all that on this podcast, but in the meantime, let's just keep pushing. Let me recommend that when it gets way too hard, take a breather. It's okay to do that. And also listen to Jonathan McReynolds and Mali Music's song called Adulting. I promise you that it's going to put things in perspective and help you strategize and refocus. So to everybody facing the challenges of adulting, I see you and I believe you've got this. You're doing so much better than you give yourself credit for. Just trust God. He's got you in the palm of his hands. So we are in the last month of 2021, December, and this time of year is usually characterized by a lot of gratitude and thanksgiving, and that is what I want us to discuss this month. Let me start by giving you a working definition for the theme, which is gratitude. Gratitude, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is the quality of being thankful. readiness to show appreciation for or to return kindness. The end of the year is a period that attracts a lot of gratitude and thankfulness among people and between people and God. And gratitude in itself is a quality that we must all cultivate because it makes life so much better. This life is full of crap. And it's so easy to live with our attention on all the things that's going wrong in life and everything that makes us feel bad or feel as if we are not doing enough. Gratitude is the thing that changes our perspective and helps us to see the brighter side of life. This is why I love the American tradition of Thanksgiving so much. I love the fact that a day is allocated to be grateful for everything that has happened and what you have achieved, and even the fact that you are alive. If we want to continue to make sense out of this life and be happy, we must learn to practice gratitude every single day of our life. I know we all have a fair idea as to what gratitude is. We've heard about it time and time again, but as a way of setting the foundation for this month's episode, allow me to talk to you about some principles of gratitude that I have learned. So, we have all heard about the analogy of a glass half filled with water. There are two ways to describe this glass. It's either you see it as half filled with water or half empty. Someone who is grateful and wants to practice gratitude chooses to see it as the former rather than the latter. Life is not always completely bad. It is a mixture of good and bad, and even on our worst day, there is always something good happening. On the days where we feel like nothing is working and everything does not make sense, there is always something good to be grateful for. And it's not always about the big things. Sometimes we think we would have to buy a house or a car or get married or win a $7 million lottery before we can be grateful. If that happens, that's amazing. But if it doesn't, the little things are also as amazing as the big ones. And if we are being very frank with ourselves, we will see that if the little things that we take for granted did not exist, there's no way we'd be able to achieve the big ones. If we were not able to wake up from sleep, we wouldn't be able to go to school and graduate. If we are not able to breathe properly, we wouldn't be able to buy a car or do whatever it is we want to do. If we do not have good health, we wouldn't be able to go out and have fun and interact with friends. We won't be able to work properly if we do not have our limbs intact. No matter the situation, there's always something to be grateful for. We need to choose to see and recognize these things and be grateful for them. Gratitude is simply noticing the good stuff in your life. Which brings me to my next point, that gratitude is a choice. It is not something that happens by chance or happens on default. We have to choose to be grateful and not resentful. Being grateful and being resentful are both actions and they are optional. We get to decide which one gets to sit at our table, the one that we want to be friends with, and the one that we want to pay attention to. And the thing about choices is that it doesn't happen on autopilot. It takes energy and effort to make a choice. And all that making a choice means is taking a preference in something. So it's not that you do not see all the bad things that are happening. You just prefer to pay attention to the good ones and not the bad. When I say I prefer a Samsung phone to an iPhone, I'm not saying I don't see all the wrong things or all the deficiencies in Samsung. But what I'm saying is that in spite of all the deficiencies with Samsung, I'm choosing to focus on the good rather than the bad. It's an active decision that you're going to have to make and be conscious about. Listen, 2020 and 2021 has just been blah. Can I be real? There has been a lot of crap that has happened. And now there's a new variant in the air. And even the experts don't know what's going on. The country is so hard and so hot. Everybody is experiencing one bad thing or the other. But the overarching good news is that we're all still here. The question is not why all these bad things are happening, because sometimes we cannot find the answer to that. The question is, why am I still here in spite of all that I've been through? There has to be a reason, a purpose. And until we put things in perspective through gratitude, we will never be able to truly know and fulfill this purpose. Towards the end of the year, I have decided to choose gratitude over resentment. And you know what's crazy but amazing about this? The fact that both cannot stay in the same place. Once you choose one, the other has to leave. Once you choose gratitude, anxiety cannot stay. Once you choose gratitude, resentment cannot stay. Both of them cannot occupy the same space at the same time. That is why we have to remember that it takes a conscious decision to remain grateful. Moving on to the next principle. The next principle I'm going to talk about reminds me of a part of Beyonce's Pretty Hurt video, like Pretty Hurt music video. It's not directly related, but it reminds me of that part. In her Pretty Hurt music video, she was a pageant contestant, and there was this part where she came on stage and the host asked her a question along the line of, what is your ambition in life? And she was like, my ambition in life is to be happy. Isn't that what we all want? With all the things that we're going through, with all the troubles, working in the sun, hustling, waking up at dawn, learning, and with everything else, at the end of the day, the goal is to be able to live a good life where we can be happy. However, we cannot be happy 24/7. That is not realistic because things happen all the dang time. So to me, I think a more realistic goal is to have joy and be content. Someone might say, but Shari, happiness and joy, are they not the same thing? No, not exactly. Joy is of the soul. It runs deep and it overflows. It's a behavior. It's intentional. It's an inner feeling that's of the heart. Happiness, on the other side, happens in the moment. It comes and it goes just like that. It's an outward expression seen on the face. Now, neither of these two are bad. Absolutely not. It's just that one lasts longer and transcends every situation while the other is fleeting. So it's just a good idea to chase and pursue joy rather than happiness. And the amazing thing is that when you have joy, you have happiness, but you don't automatically have joy when you have happiness. Yeah, think about that. And you know the number one thing that brings joy? Contentment. Contentment is an emotional state of being satisfied with what you have, whatever it is, and having a peace of mind no matter the circumstance. And you know what brings contentment? Gratitude. So you see how all these positive feelings are interconnected with each other. You have to be grateful in order to be content, and you have to be content in order to have joy. Contentment and joy is in the present and not in the future or in the past. It's in your right now. If you're not a grateful person, there is no potential for you to be content or have joy. And that is where we start to compare our lives and what we have and what we don't have with other people. People that we do not even know and only see what they choose to show us on the gram. That is not the kind of attitude we want to cultivate. Using the word cultivate is interesting to me because really that is what it is. What we pay attention to and focus on is what tends to grow and expand. Even with the attitude of being grateful, once we focus on it and become conscious to inculcate it in our everyday life and not just on Thanksgiving Day or on Christmas Day or New Year's, it grows and expands and becomes a part of us till it becomes our default setting. The past year has been one hell of a ride, and with everything that happened and everything that's happening and every other thing that will happen that we don't know about, it's easy for us to be afraid or even worse, nonchalant. But I implore you to choose gratitude over fear and resentment. You might be justified if you choose fear because God knows what has been happening in your life. But for the sake of your peace of mind and your health and your life and the life of the people around you, please, please, please choose to be grateful. Now, the foundation has been set and the stage is ready. We know what gratitude is and why it's important that we practice gratitude, especially at this time of the year, and some principles of gratitude. It might look like I've said everything that I have to say, but nope. There's more where this came from. This is just a theme episode, and on the next main episode, we will talk about how to be grateful and how being grateful literally looks like in real life. In the next episode, we're going very, very practical, so you don't want to miss it. I know this is a topic that we talk about all the time, but for the next few days over this month, come along with me and let's see if there's anything that we've been missing that we can use to revolutionize our spirit of gratitude. I'm excited about this. Thank you so much for tuning in to this theme episode. If you have listened up to this point, then it means you like me. You know you like me. You like me, and I like you too. Please consider subscribing to my podcast and sharing it with your friends. Also, do me a favor and leave a review or rating on Apple Podcasts so that the podcast can be pushed forward to reach other people. If it's not too much trouble, kindly follow me on the interwebs so we can be internet buddies. I'll leave all of my social media handles in the description box of this episode together with my email. So you can shoot me an email if you would like to share a thought or ask me a question. I will come your way again with the main episode. Until then, be safe, be happy, be you. Bye.